Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ya, selamat pagi Bapak dan Ibu, seluruh narasumber dan peserta yang telah hadir. Terima kasih telah hadir di kegiatan kami bersama dengan AILO hari ini, yaitu diskusi potensi pengembangan manfaat perawatan di jaminan sosial bagi lansia dan penyandang disabilitas. Perkenalkan, saya Dea yang akan memoderatori kegiatan kita hari ini. Mungkin kita langsung saja untuk memulai kegiatan kita. Kita mohonkan kepada Bapak Direktur Kependudukan dan Jaminan Sosial, Bapak Muhammad Khalifihani, untuk memulai kegiatan kita pada hari ini. Kami persilahkan Pak Khalifihani untuk membuka di depan, Pak.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera buat kita semua, Bapak Ibu sekalian yang hadir, baik offline maupun online. Terima kasih kehadirannya pada hari kedua. Pada hari ini saya menyapa dulu Pak Prof. Hasbullah Tabrani. Makasih Pak Prof. Sudah hadir di sini. Lalu tentunya juga pakar dari AILO, Ibu Si Ki Chong, thank you. Also Pak Yuta Momose, thank you. Tentunya juga teman saya Pak IP yang selalu berbarengan bersama saya berserta timnya. Lalu Bapak Ibu sekalian yang berbahagia yang hadir, kami mengundang para kementerian koordinator. Terima kasih yang teman-teman dari Menko Ekonomi ya sudah hadir. Nanti kita mendengarkan juga teman-teman mudah-mudahan dari Menko PMK maupun Menko PM juga hadir menyusul. Lalu kementerian lembaga yang lain, terima kasih kehadirannya. Dan juga teman saya dari DJSN nih Pak Hermansyah, makasih. Dan juga dari sekretariat DJSN juga sudah hadir. Bapak Ibu sekalian yang berbahagia, hari ini untuk sesi kedua hari ini fokusnya terkait dengan diskusi dengan kementerian lembaga. Jadi dengan kementerian lembaga kami mengundang Kementerian Ketenagakerjaan, Kementerian Kesehatan, Menko Perekonomian, Menko Pemberdayaan Masyarakat, Menko Pembangunan Manusia Kebudayaan, BPJS Ketenagakerjaan gitu ya. Dan juga pakar-pakar di sini sudah hadir Pak Prof. Hasbullah Tabrani dan juga tentunya expert dari AILO. Nah di situ kemudian kita akan dengarkan beberapa hal baik dari pengalaman para expert tentunya dan juga bagaimana pandangan, persepsi, pengalaman juga dari expert di Indonesia Pak Prof. Hasbullah dan dari kementerian-kementerian. Jadi nanti ada juga Kementerian Bappenas, kolega saya juga nanti akan memberikan pandangannya. Dan tentunya setelah itu kita diskusi. Saya sangat berharap sebelum jam 12 kita selesaikan. Jadi sesi kedua hari ini setengah hari Bapak Ibu sekalian. Karena kemarin kalau saya juga sudah merap up kemarin kita sudah selesaikan dari mulai jam 9 sampai jam setengah 4 lewat ya kemarin, alhamdulillah berjalan lancar. Nah pagi ini kita mulai dari jam 9 ini mudah-mudahan sampai jam 12. Saya ada beberapa catatan Bapak Ibu sekalian yang berbahagia sebagai pematik diskusi juga dan juga nanti sambil tentunya kita mendengarkan juga pengalaman dari para expert. Bapak Ibu sekalian yang berbahagia, ada 5 slide atau 4 slide ya yang saya akan sampaikan mengenai potensi perawatan jangka panjang berbasis kontribusi. Saya akan memberikan beberapa perspektif tentunya dari hasil yang kemarin, kemudian juga dari hasil desk study yang sempat juga kami lakukan di tahun 2023, lalu juga laporan kemarin ketika ILAS ya IDB 2023, saya juga nanti akan tampilkan. Yang intinya Bapak Ibu sekalian, next-nya saja. Kemarin juga sempat saya sampaikan bahwa penduduk lansia di Indonesia itu kalau di tahun 2024 itu sudah mencapai 12% dan rasio ketergantungannya itu 17%, Bapak Ibu sekalian yang berbahagia. Nah, kemudian kalau kemudian kita proyeksikan, pemerintah memproyeksikan di 2045 itu pertumbuhan penduduk lansia lebih besar atau lebih dari 20%. Besarannya itu kisarannya 65,8 juta penduduk lansia, seperti itu. Oleh karena itu Bapak Ibu sekalian yang berbahagia, kalau kemudian bisa dilihat bagaimana proporsi lansia, artinya mereka yang 65 tahun ke atas itu melihat jenis kegiatan yang mereka lakukan di tahun 2024, kebanyakan adalah mereka mengisi sebagian waktu mereka adalah untuk pekerjaan-pekerjaan di lingkup domestik, di mana termasuk tentunya perawatan keluarga. Jadi Bapak Ibu sekalian berbahagia, sebetulnya hampir separuh dari lansia kita itu masih aktif dalam kegiatan ekonomi. Nah, ini sebuah potensi Bapak Ibu sekalian yang berbahagia. Baik karena kebutuhan finansial atau tentunya ada juga keinginan untuk tetap aktif dan produktif. Next-nya saja, di sini ada riset yang baik, saya mengambil dari laporan ILAS-nya ADB yang kemarin 2023. Nah, kalau kemudian melihat dari prosentase pola tempat tinggal berdasarkan usia, tentunya mereka-mereka yang para lansia ini untuk kebutuhan layanan perawatan dalam jaminan sosial 5,5% lah. Lansia itu hidup sendiri tanpa keluarga. Ini menarik Bapak Ibu sekalian dari survei yang dilakukan oleh ADB dan Bapnas tahun 2023 yang lalu. Lalu 2 dari 5 lansia itu ternyata mengalami keluhan kesehatan sebulan terakhir. Itu ya. Dan sekali lagi kemarin sempat kita diskusikan ya, TPA perempuan juga masih rendah. Masih ada 50-an% dan kemarin saya sampaikan juga RPJPN 2045 mengamanahkan minimal sampai 70% untuk TPAK perempuan, seperti itu. Oleh karena itu, kalau melihat dari survei ini maka redistribusi, artinya mendistribusikan ulang beban ganda perempuan kepada pasangan, apakah kepada anggota keluarga, pekerja bidang perawatan, perusahaan, dan negara, tentunya untuk mengoptimalkan produktivitas pekerja perempuan. Nah, ini yang menjadi message-nya. Termasuk tentunya penyediaan layanan pengasuhan anak, layanan juga pengasuhan lansia. Jadi kalau saya bilang ada layanan pengasuhan lansia, nah bagaimana kemudian kita melihat potensi pengembangan layanan atau perawatan lansia ini berbasis kontribusi. Tentunya ini yang sejak kemarin kita diskusikan. Oleh karena itu dari hasil diskusi kemarin, kemudian juga beberapa yang sudah kami kerjakan juga Bapak Ibu sekalian yang berbahagia, ternyata tantangan pengembangan perawatan di jaminan sosial itu untuk manfaat perawatannya itu saya kira ada beberapa hal yang menjadi tantangannya, seperti itu. Next-nya saja. Kemarin sempat kita diskusikan juga di slide berikutnya ingin saya sampaikan pengembangan manfaat perawatan di jaminan sosial ini tantangannya misalnya layanan perawatan yang formal atau institutional care itu kalau kita lihat memang belum tersedia di seluruh wilayah, itu juga sebagai tantangan. Lalu skema pengakuan waktu perawatan oleh keluarga juga jadi tata kelola dan sebagainya juga belum kelihatan. Manfaat JKN kalau kemarin juga kita diskusikan itu ternyata juga belum mencakup seluruh jenis penyakit, gitu ya. Telah mencakup seluruh jenis penyakit, namun gitu ya masih belum termasuk layanan home visit. Ya kebetulan nanti mudah-mudahan nanti teman-teman kita dari BPJS Ketenagakerjaan juga bisa menjelaskan. Setahu saya mereka sudah punya ya untuk home visit. Lalu tantangan berikutnya adalah belum terdapat data ketersediaan jumlah tenaga profesional untuk perawatan yang terlatih. Jadi tentunya kan perlu sertifikasi dan sebagainya. Kemudian layanan perawatan home visit oleh tenaga profesional ada, tapi ternyata masih tidak terjangkau, masih lumayan costly dan sebagainya. Lalu rendahnya kepesertaan pekerja informal. Kemarin sempat terdiskusikan pekerjaan informal. Sehingga kalau sektor informal juga masih rendah, diduga ketika misalkan kita memulai long term care insurance ini barangkali juga menjadi tantangan yang sama. Dan tentunya yang terakhir tantangan budaya, beban perawatan lansia ya, yang berada di tangan keluarga, dan juga ada terdapat stigma yang negatif misalkan kalau lansianya itu diasuh atau diberikan kepada institusi dan sebagainya yang di luar keluarga terdekat seperti itu. Itu beberapa hal yang kami coba rangkum dari diskusi kemarin maupun apa-apa yang sudah Bappenas lakukan. Oleh karena itu, Bapak Ibu sekalian yang berbahagia, potensinya naiknya saja. Nah, potensinya untuk pengembangan perawatan di jaminan sosial ini, maka ada 3 hal yang menjadi opsi. Kami sempat berdiskusi, kemudian membuat kajian di tahun 2023, bagaimana kemudian opsi-opsi ini bisa jadi menjadi pilihan. Yang pertama adalah misalnya opsi layanan manfaat. Karena misalkan biaya hidup bulanan, kemudian biaya bulanan JKN, biaya perawatan dan sebagainya termasuk biaya kematian. Nah, ini bagaimana kemudian potensinya bisa kita kembangkan lebih lanjut. Yang kedua adalah opsi tempat perawatan. Apakah misalnya home care, apakah misalnya di panti yang seperti yang sudah ada sekarang. Tentunya juga mereka-mereka yang misalnya kalau perawatan di panti itu lansia-lansia yang sudah tidak mandiri lagi, yang misalkan terkait dengan tidak bisa melakukan ADL-nya perharinya. Lalu misalkan opsi-opsi yang lain untuk perawatannya, yang tempat perawatan misalkan pendamping atau pengasuh yang diperuntukkan bagi yang bisa mandiri gitu, namun tidak mampu mencapai tempat perawatan kesehatan, apakah nanti di layanan tingkat 1, puskesmas atau klinik. Nah, opsi yang ketiganya opsi kepesertaan. Nah, ini juga menjadi potensi Bapak Ibu sekalian. Misalnya, apakah kita mungkinkan mereka yang untuk kepesertaan ini kita mulai mereka mengiur pada antara 30 sampai 40 tahun seperti itu. Dan juga memperoleh manfaat misalkan memasuki usia pensiun atau memilih kebutuhan khusus karena kondisi tertentu misalkan disabilitas ataupun misalkan kondisi ketergantungan yang lain. Seperti itu. Nah, itu Bapak Ibu sekalian yang berbahagia, kami mencoba memix dari hasil kemarin dan juga beberapa studi yang sudah kami lakukan juga di Bappenas. Harapannya pada sesi kedua ini Bapak Ibu sekalian yang berbahagia, naiknya saja, kita akan coba dengarkan. Kita akan coba juga lihat persepsi dari teman-teman kementerian lembaga dan tentunya juga dari expert, baik dari ILO maupun Pak Prof. Tabrani, Hasbullah. Yang pertama adalah bagaimana kemudian kita identifikasi. Identifikasi itu paling tidak skema LTC, skema perawatan jangka panjang yang coba kita diskusikan sejak kemarin yang berbasis kontribusi, itu kalau sesuai dengan kondisi kita, kondisi kebutuhan Indonesia mau seperti apa. Iya. Ini juga menjadi penting. Kalau kemarin kita dengarkan pengalaman Jepang, mereka memperkenalkan long term care insurance itu kan tahun 2000. Tahun 1900-an ya sempat studi dan sebagainya, tapi baru memperkenalkannya kan tahun 2000. Artinya itu 25 tahun yang sekarang. Kalau kita lihat kondisi kita sekarang, apakah itu menjadi urgent kemudian dalam 5 tahun depan atau 10 tahun ke depan dan sebagainya, untuk melihat kondisi dan kebutuhan di Indonesia terkait dengan perawatan jangka panjang yang berbasis kontribusi ini. Itu yang pertama. Yang keduanya adalah kira-kira langkah-langkahnya mau seperti apa? Langkah-langkah yang perlu dilakukan dalam mengembangkan long term care berbasis kontribusi ini. Kalau kemarin teman-teman BPJS Kesehatan ya mungkin masih hadir, kalau masih hadir di sini kan sudah ada roadmap-nya, rencananya 2029 mau melakukan piloting, tentunya diskusi juga dengan bareng-bareng dengan kita semuanya. Kemarin juga sudah menginformasikan. Apakah kemudian, nah ini juga saya akan mendengarkan juga nanti pandangan dari kawan-kawan BPJS Ketenagakerjaan ya. Apakah juga punya roadmap seperti itu, ataukah barangkali 5 tahun ini kita lebih memperkuat lagi studinya, atau juga barangkali ada sisi-sisi lain yang mau kita persiapkan sebelum moving forward ke depan. Nah, ini saya pikir juga harapannya bisa kita diskusikan. Jadi 2 poin ini Bapak Ibu sekalian yang berbahagia, mudah-mudahan bisa kita diskusikan sampai menjelang jam 12 nanti. Saya kira itu dari saya sebagai pembuka dan pematik diskusi. Terima kasih kehadirannya. Saya akhiri. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Pak Livi atas pembukaan dan arahannya. Selanjutnya kita langsung saja memasuki sesi diskusi pertama. We will invite Pak Yuta and Ibu Seki dan Prof. Hasbullah Tabrani. Please Pak to come sit at the front.
So it's okay if I start. Okay. Nice to meet you. I'm.
Please, Pak.
Sorry. Yeah, you go ahead.
Oke, terima kasih Pak Yuta, Ibu Seki dan Prof. Hasbullah Tabrani. So yesterday we've already learned the overall view of LTCI in Japan, South Korea, and Singapore. Some have shown the technical implementation.
Japanese, but I'm coming from Bangkok. Then in charge of social protection, including this long-term care. Also, I do social health protection and disabilities. Thank you for inviting me to be here. So my presentation today is basically to explain what is long-term care, because that's really a new concept. So that it's good to explain by showing some example, I mean, particularly from the example of my family and then as well as Japan. Then I compare the long-term care policies in Asia, that is Japan, South Korea, Singapore, and Taiwan. Then Seki will later elaborate more of each countries. So I think my presentation, can we go back to from the beginning? Yes, go back. Two more go back. One more go back. No, I think next. One more next. Yes, this one. Thank you. So, I mean, when we talk about long-term care, we don't know what it is. So I want to start from that. So I take the example of Japan. So as kind of definition, I mean, okay, we start from 2000, in year of 2000, 25 years ago. But they start discussion from the 10 years before of this introduction. So I think from now on, 35 years ago, when Japan aging rate is around 12, that is, I mean, Indonesia currently is still lower than the aged population 12. Like now I understand it's like a very low, like 5 to 6 something. Then, but anyway, 35 years ago they start. At that time, those who aged over 65 years old, then if they go to municipal government to get a certificate, then they can receive nursing care services. So what's the example of nursing services? Because this is important, because when Indonesia implement long-term care, you will imagine that elderly people, what kind of support, I mean, what kind of service they will get from long-term care insurance with minimal co-payment without paying a lot of money. So first one is, as you can see on the slide, the right side top, that's home visit nursing care. So home helper come to the residence home. Then second example is next one, home visit busing service. You may not have to imagine, but as you can see, a very small picture, I mean picture with car with bus. They are, you know, the elderly find it most difficult to take a bus by themselves compared to other part of their life. So there are a lot of demand only to support busing. Then usually in Japan, bus stop is not so much accessible for physically impaired person. So there are many car provider coming together with home helper. Then they only come to visit the elderly people's house to put them in the bus. So that kind of service would also available if Indonesia start do long-term care insurance. Then the second last one, what you call short-term stay lifestyle care, and then the last one, lifestyle nursing care, blah, blah, blah. There are a lot of service anyways. So one is short-term daycare center. That is, for example, if I live with grandparents, I work daytime. So during that time, we cannot take care of elderly. But at night or morning, possible. So it's like a child nursery. So during daytime to make elderly to stay there and then come back. That's another one. Then last one is a nursing care facility. They keep live there. And then additionally, for example, left side, borrowing assistive devices. So for example, if elderly people find it very difficult to go to toilet by themselves, then maybe if they renovate the toilet to be more accessible, they can go to toilet by themselves. So it requires house renovation. These fund as well, this is covered under long-term care insurance. So good thing of Japanese system is based on the needs, the elderly can choose if they receive service in their home so that they can still maintain their life. They don't need to be away from the community. Or if they need a lot of support, there is a choices to stay in the facility. Or if just a matter of equipment or assistive device, they renovate. Overall social insurance system of long-term care make it possible to offer these service again with very cheap price. So I explain the concrete example in the next two slides. So next slide, please. Yes, this is me, Yuta. Then next one is my real grandmother. She's now 94 years old. Then the photo is small, but my grandmother liked to have kind of Japanese chess. So whenever I meet with her, I play Japanese chess together. So now, due to some family reason, my grandmother is still, her brain works very well. She can still think about something so that we can play this Japanese chess. That's her hobby. But she finds it very difficult to go to toilet by herself. As you can see, she's on the wheelchair, no? Already 64, 65 years old, so that, she cannot move by herself, cannot go to toilet, cannot take bus. Then my family decide that's better if she can live in the institution. Anyway, we can meet her regularly. Good thing is this photo, this institution looks like, it's very clean, no? It's kind of like a expensive condominium. But with this long-term care social insurance, we don't need to pay. Actually, she receives pension. So the amount of pension, everything to spend to stay in this institution. So it's same price. Then there is no extra cost anymore because 3 meal provided. This rent, this individual room is provided. then she can still meet with their family. She can still go back to her home if she want. So this enable, so entire social insurance system with the combination of pension and then long-term care service. So she receives pension again. So she receives some money, spending all the money for this institution. So no payment from me or from my mother, father. That's good, no? Because both of my fathers and mothers can still work. He or she doesn't need to quit their job to take care of my grandmother. So this social insurance system enabled this way. Then one more next slide, please. So I talk about the institutional care. Sorry, next slide, please. Yes. So I talk about the institutional care, but this explains the home-based care. So for example, if the elderly is like 70 years old or something, my grandmother is 94, so it's too old to move, around. But there are many people who can live by themselves in their home, but some support is needed. For example, in the case of the first one, it's say, I can live alone, I can cook, I can go to toilet, I can take a bus by themselves. But I have a bad knees, so I cannot carry heavy thing. That means, and then Japanese long-term care system have a scheme to have shopping assistance because she can cook. So only problem is go to shopping. In Japan, rural area, it's supermarket sometimes quite far. Then these times, government can offer shopping assistant service. It's only $1.3 per one time, because it is done in less than 45 minutes. It doesn't require every day anyway. Once in a week, they help. So in total, $5.2 per month, and then that elderly person receives support for the thing that they cannot do by themselves. Different example, due to dementia, it requires the support to have a proper amount of medicine. I think this case is requested by the family members. Because of dementia, she cannot, she wrongly take a wrong amount of medicine. It's so dangerous. But the other part, she can at least do everything by herself. So that time, caregiver comes to that person's home twice a day, morning and afternoon. Just give a proper medicine, then go back. So every day it's come, but in total, only $78 a month. Then that's possible. Then last case as taking a bus, she cannot do only taking a bus. It's only $1.8 per month. Then 3 times a week they receive these services. Only around $20. So long term. So of course, Japan daily price is more expensive than Indonesia. But even that society, this level of US dollar, they provide everything, no? Because the cost for the family member to quit the work to take care of family is much more expensive. So compared with that, to the support only really needed as a social insurance to do is really make elderly people happy as well, because they don't need to rely on the family. Then family members also happy because they can still work. And then if they choose, they can live, of course, together. That is very good because, this is family issue. I want to focus on family issue, but still it's entire economy. That's good as well. No? The female, particularly women, do not need to quit their job because of the responsibility of care. So that will increase the human labor force participation rate. That means the improvement of the economy. So that is why I really want Indonesia to start this discussion. So then next few slide, I put just a theory and I want to skip. Can you skip, and then, okay, let me, I do easily. Let me, sorry. Yes. Yes, okay, thank you. Sorry, it's a bit late, so it will come. So now my, oh, one more. Sorry, it's coming. Yeah, so then just to say to this kind of long-term care services, in the world, in Asia, we only have it in 3 countries plus Taiwan. So that's Japan, South Korea, and then Singapore. We only have in 3 countries, and even globally, 29 countries have it. It's very limited. Then, anyway, so whatever theory we have, I mean, when Indonesia thinks the best moment to think about these long-term care policies, and I put this slide as factors to consider. Then later I explain everything of how the other countries are doing. So we need to think about coverage population. Of course, yesterday we discussed even pension. Indonesia is still development and still under the development of the universal pension. Now only covering the employed formal population. Institutional model, that's I understand that's most complicated. Which ministry or which agency to do? Who pays the contribution, eligibility conditions, services, co-payment. There are many things to discuss, and then, but in the case of Japan, when government think about 35 years ago, and the initial kickoff is to discuss these things. They make what you call gold plan, blah, blah. Then they had a draft. Then after that, they organize a public advisory committee. Then that include all the stakeholders from academia, employers, workers, civil society, then ask our opinion. So that it will boost the public discussion, public awareness later. Then people start to understand. Then in the end, we could, after the start of discussion, after the 7 years, then Japan did a legislation of long-term care law. Then implemented in 2000. So I think it's good to show the concrete example of why these things are important. So please go to next slide. Yes, so I put all the countries comparison in Asia. So my key message, anyway, that's maybe too detailed, but my key message here is each country have a different way to do that for each factors. I mean, including who to cover, which ministry to do, who pays a contribution. So in the case of Japan, municipality is the administrator. It's very surprising, like each city, not the prefecture level, but the city level they do. In the case of Singapore, that is Provident Fund Board. That's private. Then Republic Korea, South Korea is managed under National Health Insurance Services. It's kind of under BPJS. Then in Taiwan, Ministry of Health directly managed. Then coverage of population on that sense, Japan is, they put 2 categories, over 65 years old and then age from 40 to 65. Then most of the recipients are 65, but I mean over 65, but still those who aged 40 to 65 can also receive, but the eligibility condition is very strict. Singapore recently changed the policy, then they are eligible from the year of 30. South Korea is age similar to Japan, older than 65 is the main target, but still for under 65 in these some severe condition can receive. Taiwan also said a different way, like indigenous people, people with dementia or person with disability, each of the category have different. We need to think about. Budget-wise, that's similarly very different. Something interesting is Taiwan. It's only full and funded by tax. In the case of Japan, tax is 50%, and then employer 25%, and then insured 23%. So South Korea is more based on contribution from both employer and the employees. And then government only pay 20%. Singapore is more like a individual. It's basically mostly all the money is funded by the employees. Next slide, please. Yes, then for example, benefit type, I explain like, okay, supporting to take a bus or these things. But so you may imagine long-term care is to provide service. But in the case of Singapore, they only provide cash, no service, no busing car, busing taxi available. Then South Korea is mixed. Because rural area, they think they cannot deliver services. So only exceptional case like a rural area, they provide cash. But the urban area, they provide services, in-kind services. Co-payment rate or assessment period, these are different. Anyway, so next 3 slides, please. Anyway, so my message is, even the benefit type of budget one, everything is different. So when Indonesia thinking of one by one, that is the starting point of Indonesia. So that is my message. So these are the points to think about. So can you go to next slide, please? Sorry, one more. Yes, and then maybe in addition to these 4 countries, some other ASEAN countries also have some policies, but they don't have any, what you call statutory long-term care social insurance. Thailand has a kind of famous case that elderly is supported by the community volunteer. So in each village, rural government train the volunteer to elderly. So it's not a social insurance, but they are still doing something. Vietnam is more like supported by NGO at the nation level, then do some similar support. Volunteer-based care worker go to the elderly's home. Then next slide, please. An interesting case is China, because China has a lot of population with huge urban and rural disparities. Then these cases, they start from piloting at some urban area. And then actually South Korea and Taiwan also do the similar way. They start from pilot. I'm not sure Indonesia, but the piloting might be one way to expand. So from now on, I pass and hand over to Tseki to explain a detail of Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan, the Singapore cases. So
thank you, Yuta. Selamat pagi semua. We are still in pagi, right? Yes. Salam sejahtera. I'm from Malaysia. My name is Zichi. So can you go to next slide, please? For my section, I'm not going to repeat what Yuta already mentioned, but instead we will be looking at the key figures and distinctive characteristics of each long-term care system. So we will start with Japan. So we know that the long-term care system in Japan, it starts from 2000, when the time that is the population aging became a looming social issue. Under this system, municipalities, they are the insurer. So the population cover is those 65 years old and those above, and then also between 40 to 64 years old with age-related disability. So this system, it is funded by contribution, tax and co-payment, which we see a mixture of financing source. Now we move to the distinctive characteristic of Japan's long-term care. So they are the nomor satu in Asia for establishing the long-term care system. So this has been studied by the other rapidly aging countries, including South Korea. They offer the universal coverage, so unlike many countries where long-term care is targeted only for the poor, Japan created an universal system available to all citizens in need of care, regardless of income or family situations. And this system that aim to reduce the burden on the families, especially women, who traditionally provided elder care. Care responsibilities are now shared by society as a whole, enabling women's participation in the workforce. So the LTC system in Japan also offering a wide range of services, including home visits, day care, respite care, and institutional care. Users and the users of the long-term care have the right to choose the providers as mentioned by Yuta. And one of the most unique features in this system is they have the care managers. So each users, they are assigned a certified care manager. The care manager will assess the needs and coordinate with the service providers and design the individualized care plan. We will move to Korea. Can you give me the next slide, please? Okay, thank you. So Korea, the long-term care in Korea is start from 2008, the time when there's the rapid aging and there's a public recognition that base family care is no longer sufficient for meeting the elderly. So under this system, NHIS, National Health Insurance Service, they are the insurer. The population cover under this system is those aged 65 and above, and then the one below 65 with geriatric diseases. And this long-term care insurance system is funded by contribution, government subsidy, and co-payment, which we also see a mixture of financing source. So one of the distinctive characteristics of this system is similar to Japan. They offer universal coverage. So all Korean citizens who contribute to the national health insurance, they are mandatorily enrolled in the long-term care insurance already, regardless of their income status. And unlike municipality-based system in Japan, Korean long-term care is managed by the NHIS, which also runs the health insurance. This is what we call an unified administration. Also, unlike Japan, South Korea long-term care contribution is collected along with the NHI premium, regardless of the specific age. That means that regardless of your age, once you start working and contribute to the national health insurance, you're already contributing